Hello, 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 and welcome back to my YouTube channel, My Little Piece of Real Estate Online. My name is Lydia. I'm the Fun Finance Queen, your money mentor online, and I am here to make finances more simple, more gettable, and more fun. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, it's one of my favorite days because I love reading, and I want to talk to you about 5 books that have actually changed my thinking and in some ways changed my life. These are my 5 favorite books on finances. Okay, so book number 1, a drum roll please, is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a synopsis on this book. So this book was written by Robert Kiyosaki explaining how his life was impacted by 2 men, by his biological father, who was an educator, and by his friend Mike's dad, who was actually an entrepreneur. And what he was able to learn from these 2 men was how to handle money and how not to handle money. So one of them, the educator, ended up being pretty poor because he didn't understand money. He was able to live a normal life. He lived a pretty good life, up until the time he retired. But of course, he hadn't prepared for retirement. So it put him in a place where he ended up pretty broke as a retired person. But his rich dad, Mike's dad, on the other hand, was an entrepreneur, very little education, but extremely savvy when it came to money. And so this man literally built an empire for himself and his family, and he actually changed his life. But having those 2 perspectives on life really changed Robert Kiyosaki's life. And he was able to make sure that he was prepared and he was able to retire early. I believe he retired in his 40s using investment tools such as real estate and others. But a really powerful book that is able to show you how you can impact your own life if you change your thinking about money, and also how you could impact your children's lives if you want to. So really powerful tool, and there's a whole series that he's done with many other people. But definitely read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Number 2, my next favorite book is The Millionaire Next Door. And this is by Thomas Stanley and William D. Danko. These guys are both PhDs and extremely smart people. But what they did was they took time and they wanted to understand what the average millionaire looks like, if there's such a thing. Now, what is an average millionaire? So they explained what they looked like, how they spent their money, how their homes were set up, what kind of cars they drove, what kind of businesses they were involved in. It's such a powerful tool because it compiles the evidence but makes it interesting. So you get to see that, millionaires are like normal people. They could literally live next door to you and you have no idea, because being a millionaire is all about your net worth. It's not about how much cash you flash. And so it's a really powerful tool because it allows you to see where people store their wealth, how they accumulate it, and how they actually take it from generation to generation. Powerful, powerful book because it just normalizes the concept of having a net worth of $1 million. Book number 3, The Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. Now, this is such an awesome book. Dave Ramsey is one of my financial heroes. He's very good at explaining and breaking down the concept of how you can actually change the trajectory of your finances by just doing some really basic steps. Now, if you check out my video here on the debt snowball, this is actually credited to Dave Ramsey. It's his way of showing people how to get out of debt. Now, but the book, The Money Makeover, goes a lot further because it shows you how you can actually use 7 baby steps to actually get to a place of building wealth, which is for generations. So extremely awesome book. It can take you literally from 0 to hero financially if you stick to the steps and implement them. And I would highly recommend that you read it. Book number 4, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, is my next one. And this is by a gentleman by the name of Harv Ecker. So what I like about this book is it goes a lot deeper into explaining how the thought process of the rich works. And so he's able to explain how he was able to reset his thermostat, his money thermostat, and begin to process his mindset and change his mindset around how money should operate or how money should be around his life. And that enabled him to accumulate significant amounts of wealth. So definitely check out this book. It goes a lot deeper into the psychology of money, which is another book by itself, but we'll go there later. But this book, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, is an extremely in-depth idea of looking at how finances should work and how they could affect your mind. Last but not least, and I don't know anybody who would be interested in finances and not read this book, but my last book on this list is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, this book is probably one of the oldest books along this list, but it's probably the most powerful. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill was written years and years ago, but it's still true. Every word of it is still valid, and it explains to you how our minds can actually create wealth for us. It can actually break down how you're able to use your mind to manifest things, as we call it this day. But it's such a powerful tool that it explains in depth how your mind can actually develop your finances and how you can actually change the trajectory of your financial life by thinking in the right way. So Think and Grow Rich is my 5th favorite book. It has a lot more depth to it, but I'll definitely recommend that you read it. It's not an easy read, so I often tell people, if you can, go ahead and get it on audiobook, because it's a little bit easier to digest that way. But again, a very, very powerful tool. So guys, those are my 5 favorite finance books. Please take the time to read them if you can, or get them on audiobooks. But they're exceptional, and I hope they help you the way they helped me. Thank you so much for joining me again. I ask one more thing of you, that you like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.